Imagine not being able to breathe, that which is a necessity to life. Not sometime, but every time, every day, every second, every breath is a fight. Imagine every time you think you were getting better, somehow you got worse. Perhaps to some who are often sick, it may even be the norm. Jumping from a cold to a flu, stuffy nose, from being a little sick with a cold and to shivering, fever, from a little cough, then to not being able to breathe or even pneumonia. Then to worsen and worse and worse, to feeling like you're dying because you can't breathe. And your care quickly worsen to feelings of dying, feelings you're unbearable in life. Yes, it's a virus that seems to progress for the worst in stages, from mild symptoms to worse, because feelings as that of shortness of breath are unbearable, as if you're drowning and fighting for your life, fighting for air, for one more breath, not knowing when it could be the last. This virus is using you to multiply against your own self. Now that's one of the most scary part. So if you've been around, you know exactly what we're talking about. I'm talking about here today the coronavirus, COVID-19. And right now, these are very unbearable time because the mass feels like, is there something they're missing? What else they can do? Everybody's applying the cleaning disinfectant. But no matter what, you're still feeling like something is missing, because when you're looking around and you're hearing the news, you're hearing all these other things that are transpiring, when you're going to the doctor and seeing people with masks, you just don't know where you stand. Therefore, it's very uncomfortable. It's very unbearable. People have to go to work and still have to put their children in daycare. For a while, some schools in New York were still open, especially in the city, because of the said homeless population. If you ask my opinion, I think there could have been other ways that this could have been addressed. The school could have been, to my opinion, sanitized instead and be provided for the homeless population instead of being on the street. So instead of keeping the school open because the homeless wouldn't have food, you know what I mean? So there are times that schools are closed. I'm not sure how it goes, but saying that the schools will stay open because of the homeless children, I think it was not a great feeling. I mean, if I were to be a homeless kid, that would make me feel uncomfortable, especially if some of the kids can point you out. Because, if you're homeless, your presentation comparing to the presentation of the other kids that are well off or that are even middle class may not be the same, because you might not have access to a shower or to better clothing if they don't have uniform. And even if you do have uniform, your presentation will still be, or may still be, somewhat different. So let's get into this a little bit more. And I just want to present to you a couple of ideas how you can try to give yourself a little bit of peace of mind by knowing what to do. Although I know a lot of things have been discussed, but since I know there's we have a group of people listening here, so it's only fair that I was delaying a little bit. I was unsure since a lot of information were already out, but I guess it's okay if more information is out, just so you know better, so it is duplicated in your head as far as knowing what to do. So let's take a quick break and we shall be right back. In these days and age, if you can listen to me right now, you ought to be grateful. Let me invite you to get a gratitude journal. And you can get it from Amazon to make it quick, because everybody shops on Amazon these days. I don't know who doesn't. I mean, listen, even your grandparents are on Amazon these days. Your great-grandparents are on Amazon these days. So just go on Amazon and put "I am my sister," not sister, sister's keeper, gratitude journal, my little workshop, by my little workshop. And boom, there it is. You see the ladies right in front of it. You can't miss it. I'm also going to put a link in this podcast, or I don't know where you're listening to, but as I said, it's easy. Go on Amazon. You already knew what I was going to say. That's why I took a pause purposely for you. So go right now. Go on Amazon and put in "I am my sister's," that's with an A and apostrophe S. "I am my sister's keeper gratitude journal by my little workshop." You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. And trust me when I tell you, because I have my own. All right, thank you for listening, and we are back. This is your SistaQueen, bringing you some interesting news today about the current virus that's going on. And I know that a lot of people are terrified when watching the news and listening to certain things that are going on, and not being able to process it properly only makes you feel like worried. And maybe you are already a person who worries a lot, and that only make you worry even more. So pretty much, I would say don't listen to people who are trying to scare you, because that's not a thought of it. I mean, you want to know the facts, but you don't want anyone that's going to put it out like it's just another book, they're trying to have a bestseller of. So don't go crazy, and don't let anyone drive you crazy. You want to know the facts. You want to remain calm, because the minute you don't have your calmness anymore, it's hard for you to make the proper decision for yourself or for your family. Remain prudent, because there's a lot more that needs to be done. And the way that this is going, it's a little bit uncomfortable, because you're wondering a lot in your head. Is this gonna be one of these things that's gonna turn into a money scheme, where by the time you get tested and get treatment, and you're gonna be completely bankrupt, just like the medical treatments have put many Americans in bankruptcy and even homelessness. So I know that people talk also about Lysol, because they saw it on the back of the can. That's correct, because what it is, this is not new. This is simply a new strand. This has been around for a long time. But the only difference now is that this is a new strand. This is not something that used to come from people to people. It was usually from animal to people. However, now it's from people to people. And this is what is causing this fear because it's unknown if this can be controlled. But honestly, it can only be controlled by our own power at this time, by our own dedication, by ensuring that we stay prudent. Because if we're not, we pretty much screwed. So keep being prudent, not worried, keep washing hands. Don't go to places you don't need to, because everyone is different, However this person reacted to something, that doesn't mean that's how you're gonna react to it. We are the beings, therefore we can do the right thing by not giving it passage of way, meaning if we don't allow it to move as it needs to stay alive, it'll eventually die out just like the ones before it. If, for example, if you use a tissue, if you use napkins, to blow your nose, get rid of it immediately. Because especially when you don't feel good and you lay down and you blow your nose, you just, I don't know, maybe throw it on the floor or put it on the bed next to you until you get up so you could put it in the garbage. But if you have a garbage near you, just throw it in the garbage immediately. Because you don't want to keep it around and putting it on other surfaces where other people might be touching, and next thing you know, they catch whatever you got. And that should be, honestly, like regular practices. This is not new practice. This should or was regular practice, just like when you have a cold, when you have the flu. That's pretty much the same thing. It's just these things were not reinforced as they are now, because this is getting more serious day after day, again, because this is a new strand and because it transfers from people to people. Therefore, it causes a new concern to ensure that the medical community will be able to handle this. But as I said, if you use a tissue, get rid of it immediately. Use your common sense. Be extra vigilant, because that's the key to minimize the chances of infection for yourself or for another person if you are the one infected. And the best measure, again, is best hygiene. And you can also use supportive care. At the end of the day, there are more survivors than there are fatalities. But the way the news is presented, it doesn't seem like it's so. And that's why, people get so scared and so concerned, because the news is presented to keep you on edge and, oh my God, another person died. Oh my God. And that's not what it is. If whatever the number is, if the number is 1,000 people sick, it's probably maybe 10 that died. It's not like 500 died and 500 survived. Maybe initially, maybe elsewhere, but so far it doesn't seem so over here. Apparently it is said also in research that children that are less than 10 years old are less at risk right now, which is a very good thing, because when children are sick, it really make us feel very powerless when we cannot make them feel better. But yet again, there are still concerns, because children that are 10 and above, meaning that could also be at risk, just like adults. And if you use those little laundry balls, they can be hard. That's pretty much what it looks like when you look under the microscope. It was kind of cool and weird, but sometimes it's interesting to know what it looks like. The coronavirus also. I don't even want to say the name. I just want to keep saying it. But it actually, just like the other ones before SARS and MERS, it's believed it was first transmitted from animals to humans, and this current one, it's like it happened in Wuhan. And I'm sure you caught up with the news already. And that's where it's believed to be the epicenter of the spread. Pretty much that's where it started. Everything is still being overlooked because, again, this is not something that was predictable or that was predicted. This is something that just happened and is just throwing everybody off, and we're just trying to get a hold of it, and everybody's trying to okay, what's going on? But I want to get more into this. But prior to that, I just want to say, if you know you're sick, if you know you're vulnerable already, that you have heart disease or diabetes, definitely this puts you at greater risk. If you're a person who has had pneumonia or was constantly sick with the cold or flu, and if you're constantly hospitalized, you're definitely at risk. If your immune system is weak, you're definitely at risk. So you just gotta apply prudence, as I said before, in everything that you do. Again, this thing has been around. The only difference now is just that this is a different strand and it can mutate. This one is the most mutated, and that's what's causing the scare in the medical community. So you hang in there. But however, too, the good news is that the Cuban doctors was set to found or discovered an antiviral. And at this time, they were or are collaborating with Venezuela, China, and Italy. It is called interferon alpha 2B. So this is where we are now. And, day by day, things are growing, and people are understanding better. So you and I just have to be patient and very prudent. Pay attention, be careful when you must go out. To try to be careful not to touch everything, because sometimes some people, when you get to the counter, you lean on the counter, you wait for the information you're looking for. You just gotta know you're just like a stick now. When you go to a place, you don't put your hands anywhere, you don't touch anything that you don't need to. You don't shake hands, you don't hugs, you don't kiss, It's just what it has turned to. So let's just take a quick break, and we shall be back. In these days and age, if you can listen to me right now, you ought to be grateful. Let me invite you to get a gratitude journal. And you can get it from Amazon to make it quick, because everybody shops on Amazon these days. I don't know who doesn't. I mean, listen, even your grandparents are on Amazon these days. Your great-grandparents are on Amazon these days. So just go on Amazon and put I am my sister, not sister, sister's keeper, gratitude journal, my little workshop, by my little workshop. And boom, there it is. You see the ladies right in front of it. You can't miss it. I'm also going to put a link in this podcast, or I don't know where you're listening to, but as I said, it's easy. Go on Amazon. You already knew what I was going to say. That's why I took a pause purposely for you. So go right now. Go on Amazon and put in I am my sister's That's with an A and apostrophe S. I am my sister's keeper gratitude journal by my little workshop. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. And trust me when I tell you, because I have my own. All right, and we are back. This is your SistaQueen trying to decipher all the craziness going on. I was trying to see wonderfulness, but it's really craziness. So, as we were talking about, this thing going on, pretty much the corona is from Latin. It's the Latin word for crown. And I guess because when they look under the microscope, it has all these spikes around it, and supposedly it looks like crown. So corona seemed to be the name that fit. So I hope the business for corona is still working, but not too many maybe find corona to be a great drink at this time as they used to. Nevertheless, this was something, a new strain that they found in 2019. And originally it was named Sars Cov 2 because it was very similar to SARS. And as of February 11 this year, 2020, there have been over 43,000 cases and over 1,000 deaths in China, which is pretty much where all this supposedly started. And hopefully, I think I spoke about this. I don't know if that was in this platform or somewhere else, but this is a complete different trend comparing to before, because before it was a matter of something that could transfer from animal to people, but it was not something that transferred from people to people. Now it's transferring from people to people, and it mutates itself, and it's as if your body's working against you, kind of thing. So that's why it's pretty scary. So yeah, that's where we are. So pretty much those spikes around it, somebody or some claim that it looked majestic, but as I'm thinking, and as I said before, there's nothing majestic about it. So the spikes around the thing allow the virus to invade cells that lie about your respiratory tracts and lungs. Once it enters, it pretty much tries to take over, trying to get to the mucus. It allows, it also replicates itself, as we were mentioning before. Apparently, some do not even develop, too many symptoms or any symptoms at first. And whereas in others, they can develop symptoms like, cough, fever, shortness of breath. Even in worse situations, it may even turn into pneumonia. So that's why it's important for people that are very vulnerable to try to apply all the measures that they can to ensure that they do not expose themselves too much until this can be further addressed. So, so if we get into lung damages, that's mean they'll cause breathing problem, meaning fluids not only around, but also within the lungs. That's not good. And pretty much that can cause ARDS, ARDS, meaning acute respiratory distress syndrome, which in people language, I like to say people language, because then everybody understand and there's no confusion. So it means that there are severe lung damages. And that also can lead to septic shock. So pretty much that ARDS and the shocks are the leading cause of death right now. So, again, if you don't need to be exposed, you don't need to be out there, you just do the best that you can and kind of isolate yourself until further notice. And this is, again, especially to the group age of 60 and above, smokers, people that already have hypertension, previous medical issues or condition that has to deal with respiratory. And as you know, the virus spreads in cough, sneeze, and it transfers in someone's and it transfers in someone's stool. Like, for example, say your neighbor has it, and let's say in your building there are faulty plumbings or drainage system. So now, instead of the water going to the route that it usually takes, it can't take that route because of the drainage problem. So now it may come around over to you. So that's how somewhat, it can transfer through faulty plumbing. So this is a good time, if you notice, leaking or anything like that, to let your building supervisor, manager, owner know, because this can turn into a pretty unwelcome situation and pretty much unnecessary as well. So every caution is truly necessary right now, because again, this is something that's being studied. This is something that's not entirely known, to say the least. So the best way to deal with it is to really pay attention, to really do the best that you can, always washing your hands to keep safe. Overall, there have been over 100,000 cases and over 3,000 deaths. And the mortality rate was said to be around 2% on TV, but then, initially it was really 3.4, but when really doing the calculation, doing the math, it's really 3.4. So therefore, meaning that it's still spreading today. So we got to continue being vigilant at keeping safe. Some people are sick without even traveling or being around other sick people. So this is still under study to try to figure out what went on. And so in other words, don't overreact, but at the same token, don't underreact, because you got to be prudent. People are catching it and it's not even fully understood how they got it. So as you head out, as you use your bathroom, as you talk, as we talked earlier about the plumbing issues, can be an open door to this. So make sure to be vigilant about it. Pay attention to everything around you. If people are coughing and touching the doors, make sure to sanitize your door, clean your door, disinfect them, because you just don't know who's coming in and out. Perhaps maybe this is a common entry where everybody else come through. So just make sure to keep safe that way. Wash your hands for every reason and for no reason at all. If you just opened the door and got your mail, wash your hands. If you just went to the bathroom, I don't know, like in my home, it's like I don't want to say OCD, but some are OCD. We always washing hands and doing things like that. If we go to work and, you sanitize around you, because you just don't know what people are doing at night. Some people are just crazy and sick, so you don't know what they're up to. So you always got to be washing your hands constantly, because not everybody have good manners, and some people could be coughing and sneezing in their hands, and they would touch the door like nobody's business. So you got to look out for yourself, because no one else is going to look out for you. pretty much is the point that I'm trying to make. So, as I said, if you are a vulnerable person, if you're a person who constantly need attention, you're constantly hospitalized, maybe some of your appointments, let's say if you have therapy, and I'm talking about behavioral therapy, maybe this is something you can do over the phone. Some places are willing to do that now, I heard. A lot of things, if you don't have to be there, a lot of people are getting school online now. What else? I mean, a lot of things that can be done over the phone. Like if you have a coach, maybe you can do that. You can reach your coach over the phone instead of meeting face to face. It's just a lot of things right now. If you do business, you can meet with people over the phone. You can have a phone conversation instead of having to go out and have some coffee and so on and so forth. I don't know. This is very hard because this is like a burden on the entire economy right now. So it's a challenge, but we can get over it. We just have to be smart about it. So let's take a quick break and we'll be right back. In these days and age, if you can listen to me right now, you ought to be grateful. Let me invite you to get a gratitude journal. And you can get it from Amazon to make it quick because everybody shops on Amazon these days. I don't know who doesn't. I mean, listen, even your grandparents are on Amazon these days. Your great-grandparents are on Amazon these days. So just go on Amazon and put I am my sister, not sister, sister's keeper, gratitude journal, my little workshop, by my little workshop. And boom, there it is. You see the ladies right in front of it. You can't miss it. I'm also going to put a link in this podcast, or I don't know where you're listening to, but as I said, it's easy. Go on Amazon. You already knew what I was going to say. That's why I took a pause purposely for you. So go right now. Go on Amazon and put in I am my sister's, that's with an A and apostrophe S. I am my sister's keeper, gratitude journal by my little workshop. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. And trust me when I tell you, because I have my own. Hello. This is your SistaQueen, and I'm back continuing our conversation that I know we don't want to have right now, but we have to also be aware, when these things are going on. Some people may not be so tuned to listen to the news or listen to some different platforms that are very scary in details, but here I just want to report the facts. I just want to tell you what's going on in such a way that it is understood. I'm not trying to confuse you. I'm not getting paid for this. So yeah, this is just something I just want to share with you. It's not in all perfect way, but just to the best of my knowledge. And of course, everyone has access to the internet, to a phone. So you can always call your local department, health department, that is, to inquire about more information and resources, whatever it is that you need. You can also call your politician, your local politician, to find out what's up, what's going on, what are the services that they put in place to help people, and all of that good stuff. So, research reported that incubation period typically lasts about an average 5 days. But apparently in some cases, it seemed like it may last up to 24 days. When I'm talking about the incubation, we're talking about when the symptom the symptoms start to develop. So it varies from one person to another. It's unknown for sure if someone like that would spread the disease, meaning that someone in incubation period who might not even show any sign, actually, someone who may have the symptom but hasn't shown any sign, does that person is this person spreading it? You know what I mean? It's unknown for sure. So if someone like that can spread the disease, meaning during that period again, due to the low level of circulation of the virus in their system, so are they able to transfer it? If they talk in your face, if they touch you, does that mean you're going to get it? But this is still being researched. It's really unknown. And again, too, people spread it differently because, again, people are different. So treatment in different countries also vary right now, since there are not any vaccine per se. So they say, of course, providing fluid is key number one, and also oxygen or ventilator. So there's, everybody used whatever that they have available. However, I also did see an article where they mentioned that Cuba did discover an antiviral vaccine. So they were in touch with some other countries, in which USA wasn't one of them. That's not good. But hopefully, we'll be able to get that too if this comes to play. Also, there was an article that showed that one patient, and if you're on social media, you may have seen it, a patient that was really getting worse, and on the 11th day was given HIV medication, and somehow he improved. Mostly they use also for this anti-malaria medications, anti-HIV, and anti-Ebola medications. So I guess in some cases it may work, in some cases it doesn't. But since, this is all about respiratory system, so I guess in some cases, it does respond, just like this gentleman did. And in China, I also saw another article where they mentioned that they have used a different diet for a lady who was 103 years old. And I also saw an article about a baby who was the first one, who was the first baby to also test positive for it. I wasn't able to follow up with it because there was just too much on social media. I mean, just too much. So sometimes you got to get off and recharge before you're able to go back. You can't just keep on taking information and taking in. Eventually, your system, just like a computer, may crash, because there has to be a time you got to stop and then start over. Okay. So prevention is just that, avoid traveling to anywhere that there's an outbreak, which is pretty much almost anywhere now. I mean, except for, I think Haiti has 0 cases. Everywhere else has like at least, 110, and some more cases. But this thing looks for places where it can multiply. But I guess a country that's so hot, usually the hot countries, you see a lot of them have not so many cases, or they don't have any cases at all, because it's hard for it to replicate, to duplicate in that kind of environment. And avoiding crowded places is also smart, and keeping away still, keeping a distance. I mean, at the end of the day, we human. If someone doesn't cough, you're not really going to back up. If someone is just talking to you naturally, hey, how you doing? You don't think about distancing yourself until the person coughs, and then suddenly, some people just want to run away. They don't even want to step away, but they just want to run away from you because they're not trying to get sick. And yeah, keep your distance from anyone who you know has the symptom. As simple as that. And definitely continuing and constant and consistent hand washing is your best friend, is your new best friend. And they also talk about the T-zone, your eye, nose, and mouth. When you look at it, it does like a T, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. So it formed like a T. So that T-zone, they tell you to avoid touching it. Avoid touching it, because this is mainly where the virus enters that we know so far. Then develop symptoms later on, again, as fever, shortness of breath, cough, and even sometimes some worse symptoms. So the best that you can do is wash your hands for, like I said, for any reason and no reason at all. Overnight, I mean, the death tolls just doubled in places like in the UK. Some call it a lethal superbug. Other people believe that this was a bioweapon. I mean, if we want to go at this right now, we're just going to keep going all day, all night, and neither one of us will be right or wrong, because at the end of the day, nobody knows. And it's not like someone is going to come to you and be like, oh yeah, it was this, it was that, or no, everybody's just going to play cool, because again, this is a system where nobody wants to be responsible. No one desires to take the responsibility, even for the things that they have caused. Even if they stepped on you, they expect you to say, I'm sorry, because you put your foot under their foot. That's how they see it. So we just gotta hope for the best and pray that it doesn't get any worse than it already is. So I'm not really gonna get into discussion about what to wear. I mean, we already are in New York. I'm currently doing this from New York, so we're still in season where we're wearing jackets and we got to put clothes on. So I think everybody would want to put something long sleeve on. You want to put the proper dressing on, not only for the weather, but also you want your body part, to be covered as much as possible. So the less you have exposed, the better for you. And as far as, what to wear for someone who works, as far as doctors, medical staff, I mean, that's not up to me. That's going to be up to their, work environment. And I'm sure they already know what to wear. So it's cold. It's not hot. At least if it were hot, I would suggest, put on a sweater anyway. I mean, even if it's a light sweater, just to cover your skin. That's even if I were to be in a place like Florida or Arizona right now, I would still put on long sleeve just to cover my own skin in case if someone sneezed and then I didn't know or I didn't notice, and then I rubbed my nose and next thing you know, I picked up something I didn't realize that I was exposed to. So that's what I mean by that. Anyhow, let's take a quick break, because I think even me telling you, it's a lot of information to process. So let's take another quick break and we ought to be right back. In these days and age, if you can listen to me right now, you ought to be grateful. Let me invite you to get a gratitude journal. And you can get it from Amazon to make it quick, because everybody shops on Amazon these days. I don't know who doesn't. I mean, listen, even your grandparents are on Amazon these days, your great grandparents are on Amazon these days. So just go on Amazon and put I am my sister, not sister, sister's keeper, gratitude journal, my, my little workshop, by my little workshop. And boom, there it is. You see the ladies right in front of it. You can't miss it. I'm also going to put a link in this podcast, or I don't know where you're listening to, but as I said, it's easy. Go on Amazon. You already knew what I was going to say. That's why I took a pause purposely for you. So go right now. Go on Amazon and put in I am my sister's. That's with an A and apostrophe S. I am my sister's keeper gratitude journal by my little workshop. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. And trust me when I tell you, because I have my own. All right, brothers and sisters, and we are back. We want to talk about, let's talk about some steps to take to protect yourself and your family. Be sure to keep clean hands at all times, meaning you're going to wash your hands often and probably more often than you ever did in your life before. Maybe. And when you do so for a long time, like 20 seconds as recommended by the CDC, or even if you're like a kindergartner, that usually happens. They want you to sing happy birthday while you wash your hands. So that was a great way to teach children to wash their hands. And if you feel like doing more, go ahead, especially if you were out and about in public. And the same applies if you were coughing or sneezing, blowing your nose, or someone else's, like elderlies or children. Be sure to wash them again. Don't think that because you're home, it's suddenly okay not to wash them. Even when you're at home, if you're done cooking, you're done eating, you're sitting, you're watching TV, and you go to the bathroom, wash your hands still. Because sometimes people have the tendency to think because they're at home, they use their own bathroom, that it's okay to just walk out. No, don't do that, because sometimes you have visitors that come to your house too, and you don't know where they came from. So that's why it's important to constantly wash your hands, disinfect your house. And I just want to make a point is that this is things that we should, if you know Caribbean people or African people, this is something that is done consistently in the home, even if you have a small home, big home. But there are these places that you use all the time, like your kitchen, your bathroom. These are like your bedroom. These are like requirements. They have to be spotless at all time, because these are things that you use. For some people, their living room is not even touched. If you go in there, you're like, wait, has anybody been in here? Am I like the first to be in here? That's how beautiful, spotless, and clean it is. So it's really important. If you didn't have the habit of constantly being OCD, I guess this is your opportunity to try it out. And you got to keep avoiding to touch your face. I know it's very tempting, but you got to do your best. Don't touch your nose, your eyes, your mouth. And as we discussed earlier, that T-zone. It's typical to rub your eyes for any reason and no reason at all. For some, it's just a bad habit. Perhaps to be talking and touching their face, their nose, like a little side to touch with their thumb, when someone is saying something. But mostly I've seen males do that, when they get a feel of themselves, when they're telling their counterpart a story that they're the man, and they're showing off, and they use their thumb and, just brushing their nose and like, yeah, man, man, and then there you go. You just sniffed it in and you just touched your nose on top of it. So So don't do it, And for the mouth, women wear lipstick or lip gloss. So in the process of fixing it, maybe you had it earlier and it started fading away and you want to add some more. And there you go. You might try to fix it and clean it, clean around it to make sure that everything is in, that it's not all over the place, looking like some crazy woman just walking the street. So you go and try to fix it and your hands weren't clean. Boom. You just catch something. You might. It's not guaranteed, but do you really want to test it out? Also, people have the tendency, guys or girls, but I think maybe mostly guys, if you spend all day, let's say if you have a conference where you were talking a lot, and then, that little corner, that crest of your mouth, start having like a little bit of a build up, all the talking, all the spit, kind of like, I'm not trying to be nasty, I promise you, but I'm just explaining some situation that may happen. And because it's unconscious, it's normal for you to just do it. But if I don't say it, it might not come to your mind. But I'm just saying these little things to really make you pay attention of how much we touch our faces, how much we touch that T-zone that we're trying to avoid right now. We touch it so much as I'm talking, and you can just hear my voice just change. That's mean I just pinched my nose. That's just something that we just do so much. It's crazy. But luckily for me, I've been washing my hand throughout the process of doing this, so I'm not necessarily worried. And my hands are clean because I'm constantly going back and forth doing that. So yeah, if someone is at a conference, they have that that spit that kind of collect around on the corner of their mouth. And then sometimes people tend to not take the best practice is you should have a handkerchief if you have that issue, or you can constantly drink water to make sure you don't have that dry mouth that causes it. Or you can make sure to use tissue or paper towel to just clean it. But sometimes I've seen people just do it with their hands and it doesn't look good. But yet again, it's a habit. People just do what they do. And who are we to say they can't? Or who are we to change their habit? We just hope they do, but But pretty much you just remember to take precautions. You got to take precautions at during all time, at all costs, because it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. You going through all that, and it's just not worth it. Just pay attention. Wash your hands, and wash your hands. You get to the doctor's appointment, you're done, wash your hands. You use the bathroom, wash your hands. You just got home, wash your hands. Don't go pinch the food in the kitchen. And no, the minute you walk home, like, this is something I'm so grateful for that my family, does so. The minute we get home is like straight to the bathroom. Everybody washes their hand. I don't even have to say anything anymore. It's a complete habit. The minute we walk home, it's like, it's automatic. Even if they go to someone else's house, same thing. It's automatic. And I'm like, whoop, whoop, hallelujah. So it is just, it's just habits that we just have to develop. And among all these habits, I think hand washing is one of the biggest, because that's how we catch most of the things. By not washing hands, we put hands in our mouth, we put hands in places, and then without washing our hands, and it end up, because it's like, what it is people think, oh, I'm just grabbing a fries. People thinking that washing hands mean that if you're gonna eat something like, I don't know if fufu, if you're gonna eat something fully with your hand, that's when you need to wash it. But if I'm just grabbing a fries from your plate, it should be okay. If I'm just And I remember, coworkers sometimes used to laugh at me because I would be the type that would eat pizza with, fork and knife. I would eat my fries with forks and they would laugh. They're like, why are you eating? And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's just, I'm not home to feel like my hand is really like when I'm out, even if I wash my hands good, I feel like it's still not washed good enough. Like I need to be home, for it to be washed good enough. I need to like jump in the shower to feel like my hands are perfectly washed. When I'm out, it's always difficult. Even if I try to eat a pizza, like, I try to follow their advice and I still would take like a paper towel or I would use something to I still don't feel like, because I just know ever since I was little, my dad used to be like, your hand is the dirtiest part, of your body. And it's like, I'm like, ew, ever since that always stayed in my head. So it's like, I've just always been like that. I've always been washing my hands, like any little thing, like washing my hands, any little thing, washing my hands. So it's a habit that stayed with me. And thankfully, it's a great habit because now it's like a lot of things I don't have to worry about and I can pass it down. And obviously, it's already working. So, but again, if there's anything that you can do for yourself right now is really learning how to wash your hands. And even if you have access, if you're home, if you get back home, because sometimes, washing your face, that's all stuff. It's like if you get home, if you're a lady, take off your makeup and wash your face, because it's like when you're out, things are flying by you and whatever have you. So there you have it. So I'm going to let you process this. Let's take a quick break and I shall return. In these days and age, if you can listen to me right now, you ought to be grateful. Let me invite you to get a gratitude journal. And you can get it from Amazon to make it quick because everybody shops on Amazon these days. I don't know who doesn't. I mean, listen, even your grandparents are on Amazon these days. Your great-grandparents are on Amazon these days. So just go on Amazon and put I am my sister, not sister, sister's keeper, gratitude journal, my little workshop, by my little workshop. And boom, there it is. You see the ladies right in front of it. You can't miss it. I'm also going to put a link in this podcast, or I don't know where you're listening to, but as I said, it's easy. Go on Amazon. You already knew what I was going to say. That's why I took a pause purposely for you. So go right now. Go on Amazon and put in I am my sister's. That's with an A and apostrophe S. I am my sister's keeper gratitude journal by my little workshop. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. And trust me when I tell you, because I have my own. All right, and we are back. And as we were talking, I told you I'm known for having soap and water in my car because I worked on the field for a long time and I hated feeling my hands dirty because you spend all day saying hello, shaking hands, and literally I use, my head is always wrapped. So I just took the ride and I just be telling people, Assalamu alaikum, and just so when I'm just tired of shaking hands, but may the good Lord forgive me for that. So pretty much, after my home visits and pretty much each home visit, I'd wash my hands. I would have like gallon or bottle of water in my car, and people used to be like, you are funny. And if it's summertime, most likely I don't really have makeup on, so I'd even wash my face too, and I would have my towel in my car. I come ready, okay? because I don't like that feeling of feeling, like dirty, because you can feel it when your hands are dirty. You might not feel it all the time, but like, after a while. But to me, I guess maybe because it's a habit of always washing my hands, even if I were to just sit at home, I would just go in there and just wash my hands. And for no particular reason, sometimes it's just like if I were sleeping, I were laying down, if I were just relaxing, and then, hey, if it's a couple hours, it's time for me to wash my hands. And that's a habit I think sometimes people don't have, because they were just sitting behind a desk all day typing. They think their hands are clean because of that. No, your hands are always dirty, because it's constantly collecting something around you. It's touching things, you're moving things. Those screens, they contain a lot of dirt, a lot of microbes as well. So that's why it's important. And I know we give hugs as well, but we must keep some distance right now, and who knows for how long. So again, apply all the precautions that are possible right now, especially if you're at higher risk than everyone else. For example, if you have diabetes, a cold, blood pressure, coughing, the flu, asthma, or anything that have to do with your respiratory system, you don't want to play with that. You want to keep your distance. And if you also have a concerning, or weak immune system, you definitely want to consider that and be more cautious than everyone else. Anyhow, if you're ill, stay at home and get in touch with your doctor regarding what to do, and plan. Like I did that, with some of my doctors. There are some treatments I might be able to do over the phone, but there are treatments that I may need to go out for. There are certain things I might be able to do on my own. They can give me like a sheet with the exercises that I need. Hey, I take advantage of that instead of fighting to be there. And next thing you know, something happens. So reach out to your doctor and work out a plan, because you never know for what's needed. Let's say if you have diabetes, they might be able to help you get through your insurance a machine that can monitor you if you don't have one already. Same goes for blood pressure and stuff like that. So speak to your doctor and try to, work out a plan. And if you need to see a doctor, use a face mask. If or when you're around other people, at all times too, use a mask. If you're sick. But if you're not sick, do not wear a face mask, because it'll give you more reason to touch your face. Pretty much the virus known point of entry is like your mouth, your eyes, your nose. Because once you have it in your face, constantly, I don't know if you've wear a mask before, you gotta keep fixing it. You gotta keep fixing it. And here you are, you're going into buildings, you're opening doors. So that's mean your hands, by the time you leave your car, by the time you get in the car, your hands are already dirty from the wheels. So that's another place too that collect a lot of dirt. Your wheels, learn to clean that. Your gear that you use to shift your car, clean that. Your screens, even if you clean the car, but these things require special kind of cleaning. You want to disinfect them, because you in and out, you in and out of them. As possible, I'd like to say, if you're in and out of your home along with others, cleaning and disinfect every day is a must. The most common place, like your entryway, like your doorknobs, handles, and other places, other little things like your light switches you wouldn't think of, because you think about it, especially that of the bathroom, because it's usually the first place someone goes to without clean hands and hoping to walk out. to come out with clean hands. So when people go in and they turn the light, their hands are not clean. And by the time they walk out, they turn off the light. But the light was not even, they didn't get to disinfect it. So you just dirty your hands again. So, sometimes you may just use a piece of paper, take a little bit of paper and turn off the light. Especially if you're using a bathroom outside of your home. So, I don't say to do that at a friend's house because it may look even awkward. If you do it, you got to be a little bit, I'm losing my words right now, but you don't want to do it to up front and make it seem like something is wrong. So anyway, don't forget about other things like cell phones, headsets, earplugs, remote controls like the TV or radio or whatever else. Clean items like tablets, other touchscreen items. You can use Lysol, bleach detergent, soap and water, and other surface disinfectant should be fine to clean your home. And as far as your screens, your technology, your technology stuff like your tablet, you should follow the guidelines that they give you on that paper when you bought it. Or you can also reach out, like for your iPad, you want to call Apple to make sure that you're doing it right. I don't want to tell you how to clean it, but I know you have to, wipe it and make sure it stays clean. So, and if you're using sanitizers, you want to make sure they're 60-70% alcohol. Because if they are not, it's like they're not really doing anything. So you want to make sure at least they have that amount. So I don't want to, you know what? Let's take a quick break and then we're going to review everything we just talked about, or at least the ones that are most important. And then that's it. So let's take a quick break and recapture everything that we just talked about. Because I know it was a lot and processing and remembering may be tough on you right now. So let's do this. In these days and age, if you can listen to me right now, you ought to be grateful. Let me invite you to get a gratitude journal. And you can get it from Amazon to make it quick because everybody shops on Amazon these days. I don't know who doesn't. Listen, even your grandparents are on Amazon these days. Your great-grandparents are on Amazon these days. So just go on Amazon and put I am my sister, not sister, sister's keeper, gratitude journal, my little workshop, by my little workshop. And boom, there it is. You see the ladies right in front of it. You can't miss it. I'm also going to put a link in this podcast, or I don't know where you're listening to, but as I said, it's easy. Go on Amazon. You already knew what I was going to say. That's why I took a pause purposely for you. So go right now. Go on Amazon and put in I am my sister's. That's with an A and apostrophe S. I am my sister's keeper gratitude journal by my little workshop. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. And trust me when I tell you, because I have my own. All right, brothers and sisters, we are getting towards the end of our podcast today. So as I want to say as promised, but I don't remember if I did promise that I was going to make a resume. But I would like to go over everything that we talked about today because I know it was a lot to process. But perhaps if you just listen to this, you will grasp better or more. Like I'm sort of like that when I get the resume, when I get those aha moments, when I get, everything just compress into something shorter, like it might be easier for me to remember. So pretty much I said, for further updates, contact your local health department or reach out to your politician. All right. If you're not sure what to do, reach out to their offices, inquire about it. If you need help, if you have certain concerns, if you have, limited resources, they can probably refer you to a place that can assist you. Now, if you are a sensitive, vulnerable person, stay at home. By vulnerable, sensitive, I mean someone who already preconditioned for respiratory issues. If you already have asthma, if you already have blood pressure, if you already have diabetes, if you already have, certain diseases that already cause your immune system to work, to be a bit weak. So your best bet is to stay home unless you really must be out. Remember how it spreads. Just remember not to keep touching your face and its components, your eye, your mouth, your nose. Remember the T that we talked about, so your eyes, your nose, your mouth. Try not to keep touching everything, because again, these are the routes that the virus uses to enter your body that we know for now. If you must touch your face or the parts that we just talked about, use a tissue instead of just touching your face, not, with your dirty hands. Must you sneeze, do so in your sleeve. Must you cough, do the same. Keep your distance. It's spreading from person to person. So goodbye to hugs and kisses. Avoid close contacts with people, period, because someone can have it and show no symptom for days or even weeks. And yet, it's unknown if during that period, if it can still be contagious, if they can still transfer from person to person. This is something that's still being studied. It's unknown, so let's not take any chances. Also clean things like your car wheels, buttons, radio, even the seats, especially if you share the vehicle with someone else or if you give rides to other people. So you listen, call me OCD if you want, but I do have alcohol in my car. Not drinking alcohol, but alcohol that you have in your sanitizer I'm talking about. I would spray it literally when I get back in the car or, getting in. I would just spray it. I can't tell you if it does anything, but to my psyche, yes, it does something. So, and I keep it in the car. I also spray it on my hand. Let's say that I get in the car and I'm driving and I'm in a rush. I didn't have time to clean, because literally when I get in and out of the car, I clean the wheel. It's just the little things that you don't think of, the little things that you think are minimal are actually big, are actually helpful. So clean your hands more often than you ever did before. Wash them often with soap and water. Don't just go in there, because I see what people do. They just like wash the tip of their fingers and then walk out. No, the major dust, the major dirt sits in the palm of your hands, so that needs to be washed too. Wash your hands thoroughly, especially if you were out in the public. You've been opening doors, pressing buttons on elevators, so you definitely need to wash your hands. If you're not able to wash your hands, use hand, like right now. Let's say it's not too crazy cold right now, But let's say during when it's cold, because I do that sometimes, I would have water on the side on the side of my door, and I would just wash my hands when I get back to my car. But let's say that you know I wasn't able to do it where I was. Someone could have been in there, and I didn't want to wait, so I would just like pull over, and I would just or while I'm in the parking lot, I just wash my hands. So it's not anything. It's not gonna cause any problems or anything like that. So I would do that. And use hand sanitizer when soap is unavailable, and be sure that it's at least 60% alcohol. Avoid touching your face again and its parts, especially with unclean hands. And I don't know if I'm saying this enough, do not touch your face again, because that's all they've been talking about, because that's the entry way to the virus. If sick, stay in your house, get in touch with your doctor, make a plan. And when you're sick, when you have to be out, wear a mask so it is known also, so people could, keep their distance from you. Just be kind, let people know. Cover your coughs and sneezes through your sleeve. When you do so, also use tissue, and when you use them, throw them away immediately. Don't keep them on your bed as company. Don't put them in your pocket. They're not gonna turn into money. Don't put them on your furniture, on your surface, on the table, on the floor. They're not gonna pick themselves up. So find a way. If you have to use what I do sometimes, if I'm like really under the weather and I'm really having difficulty moving around, let's say sometimes I take shots, and sometimes when I get home, sometimes I feel okay, sometimes I don't feel okay. So I would, because I have these little bags. What are they for? Are they for diaper? No, I don't know. They're very thin. They're similar to, I don't want to gross you out, but they're similar to dog poop. I don't remember what they were for, but they were not for dog poop though, because I was not from the dog section. They were like mini garbages, the mini garbage bags. Sometimes you can find them at the dollar store. Sometimes that's what I use. So if I'm going to sit outside and I'm trying to feel better, and I would put that next to me. If I'm going to bed, I would take one next to me, or because my garbage is under a table. So sometimes to like twist myself, I don't twist myself, just bend a little and to throw it in there if I'm in bed. So sometimes I don't find that even comfortable. So what I would do is I would take a little bag with me, or I would just move the garbage closer. But I have a problem too. I don't like to see garbage in front of me. So I have to put them under a furniture to feel okay. So, just little tweak, like do things the way they work for you, without having to negate your health, without having to put yourself at risk. Just do the things that work. Find a way to make things work, so you can keep yourself and everybody else safe. And where was I? And when you wash your hands, if you made the mistake and put them in your pocket or on a surface, maybe you can change clothes. It could be your robe, so I don't know, who cares? You figure it out. And if you put it on your surface, clean the surface immediately. Don't leave it like that. When wash your hands, do so 20 seconds or more. If you're not sick, don't wear a mask. Just imagine if suddenly they were driving around and picking people that were sick to take to a lab to test, and here you are wearing a mask. They wouldn't talk to you. They would just take you straight to the lab. And here you are, you were not even sick. And now you've been exposed because now they put you in a van with a bunch of sick people. So that's not happening, but I'm just saying, just imagine that. Disinfect your home on a daily basis. I do that more than daily basis, because I know sometimes I come in and out. I have appointments that I'm not able to cancel at this time. And if they see me, that they're required. So I really have to attend in order for me to be function. So to be able to function, so I have to go to them. So every time that I exit, every time that I get to where I need to, I always make sure to look around. I try not to touch the doors. I use the handicap button. I try to not touch anything at all. When you get on the desk, you tend to just lean or put your purse, or I try not to do that at all. I try not even bring my purse if unnecessary. And that's another thing too. If you go into a quick appointments where they already know you don't need your ID. Like, leave these things in the car, or if you can carry something smaller that can just that you can just put around your neck, or one of those kind of wallet, or I don't know. Just use your brain. Just, if you're not gonna you don't need everything in your purse, just don't bring the purse at all. If you know that you just need a paper, like sometimes I just take my planner with me because it has pockets inside, and I just put everything that I know I'm gonna need at that appointment and call it a day. I don't even have to bring anything at all. I'm already known there. So there you have it. And another thing I do, I think I mentioned that before, but in case if you forgot, I'll mention it for you again. I use one of those little, I poured one of the alcohol thing in a spray bottle. So when I get back in the car, if I didn't get to wash my hands while I was at the doctor's, or for whatever reason, someone could have been using the bathroom. And I try not to use this bathroom anymore because I know, people are coming in and out, and that, it could be risky because someone could be in there and they didn't know, or whatever happened. So I use like a bottle of that alcohol. And again, not drinking alcohol. Get over yourself. I use that. I put it on a spray bottle and I just spray my hands, and that's pretty much good. It's probably better than sanitizer. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I think I covered just about everything, because I think the main thing that I see it on is just to make sure that you wash your hands as much as possible. Wash your hands probably more than you ever did in your time before. This is something new. This will pass. It will pass very soon. Before you know it, it'll be over. So just do the best that you can, protect yourself, protect your family. If you know you're not feeling good, call your doctor, get in touch, make a plan, let them tell you what next that you need to do. If you don't feel like your doctor is telling you what you need to hear at the time, or you need more information, you can always call your local health department. If you don't feel okay with the information they give you there, you can always reach out to your local politician, whoever you voted in, and you can inquire, what's the plan? Where do I go? If I feel like I have more questions, how do I go about it? So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you have questions, call your local health department. I really don't want to put myself, out there as if I want to be the person to be contacted. No, I just wanted to do an info session, and I wanted to gather as much information as possible, because I know a lot of people have been inquiring about it, and I said I was going to do it, but I really wanted to stay away from it because there's so much information out there. But I know some of it can be a bit confusing too, or maybe not in regular, in the mass language, they're in medical language, or they're in public health language, or they're in other language, but not necessarily in the normal language that people grasp. So that's why I said, you know what, let me just do it. And hopefully, I hope it It touched the places that needed to be touched. And that's pretty much it for me today. All I'm going to do is listen to this myself as well, because I know it's a lot of information to process. So I wish you well and stay positive. Don't panic, because like I tell, some of my friends sometimes, if you panic, you're screwed. So you got to calm down. You got to find a way to calm down. If it's music, if it's dancing, if it's singing, whatever it is that calm you down, drawing, writing, you need to do that. Because if you don't, if you start panicking, and you may end up, touching your face with dirty hands and, biting your finger without knowing. And next thing you know, you put yourself at risk, and now you end up catching something you could have prevented. But because you become nervous, you become excited about it in a negative way, so you causing yourself not to be able to make the best decision. So again, calm down, research, inquire. Don't get emotional over responses, because whatever it is, it can be addressed. So just calm down, listen to the information, process it as needed, listen to the people that you trust, that you value and you respect. And yeah, don't spend all your, I don't know about you, but I don't want to spend all my day. I don't want to tell you what to do, but I don't want to spend all my day discussing this, talking about this, who died today, where did I don't really want to spend my energy on that. I just want to spend my energy on, okay, life is good. We are alive. We can just be grateful, and we can just wish well, the families that have to be impacted. And it's unfortunate, but we do not hold the control of that. And we can only wish them well and support one another as needed. Like I have some information I share with you, and now you got it, you share with another person, and you never know, that simple little message can save someone's life. So here we go. This is your SistaQueen, and wish you well. Take good care. In these days and age, if you can listen to me right now, you ought to be grateful. Let me invite you to get a gratitude journal. And you can get it from Amazon, to make it quick, because everybody shops on Amazon these days. I don't know who doesn't. I mean, listen, even your grandparents are on Amazon these days. Your great-grandparents are on Amazon these days. So just go on Amazon and put I am my sister, not sister, sister's keeper, gratitude journal, my little workshop, by my little workshop. And boom, there it is. You see the ladies right in front of it. You can't miss it. I'm also going to put a link in this podcast, or I don't know where you're listening to, but as I said, it's easy. Go on Amazon. You already knew what I was going to say. That's why I took a pause purposely for you. So go right now. Go on Amazon and put in I am my sister's, that's with an A and apostrophe S. I am my sister's keeper, gratitude journal by my little workshop. You're going to love it. You're going to enjoy it. And trust me when I tell you, because I have my own.